Welcome back to another episode of Believe in TCU. I'm Zion Trammell alongside Seth Daddle. We've got a TCU versus USC Alamo Bowl preview. It's almost here, Seth. Almost that time. It's gone by pretty fast, honestly.
Yeah, it feels like just the other day we were talking about TCU's final game, around Thanksgiving, and it's almost been a month since TCU's played a football game. And just in a couple days, we're here recording this on the 26th. Happy Boxing Day, everybody. Um, Playing on the 30th, Alamo Bowl, gonna get it going, and that'll be the end of the 2025 TCU football season. But we're going to try and talk about the game. I think there's a lot to talk about in terms of, who's playing for TCU, who's not playing for USC, who's not playing for TCU, and what the offense is going to look like for the Frogs. So it'll be an interesting conversation, but definitely a more nuanced kind of game for you than usual because of just kind of the complicating factors surrounding both sides in this game.
It's a different TCU team especially with who's at the helm. It's Ken Seals. He's at the helm now.
Come on, Ken.
It's his game. Josh Hoover decided to enter the transfer portal, so he's not going to be playing in this game. And it is the senior Ken Seals who will be calling the plays. Well,
hopefully
not calling the plays.
Well,
yeah,
actually, let him.
Let him call the plays. He'll be the quarterback. No, it'll be Sonny Dykes, I think, calling.
They said it'll be by committee, so whatever that means.
So it could be him.
I hope they do what Auburn did, and they have one dude call it on first down, another dude call it on second down, another dude call it on third down.
Yeah. Hey, Avalos, what do you think we should do here? What, as a defensive coordinator, what would you expect us to do? And then they do the opposite.
Sure. You know? Why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
What if they just do slants over and over again?
And screen passes.
I'm sure that'll work.
Yeah. Hey, that's where you can really get creative here and just do the same thing over and over.
In all seriousness, I don't know we don't know what the play calling situation will look like exactly. Just throw crap at the wall because this is not what you're going to be doing next year. So there's no game film that anyone can take from the Alamo Bowl. You got your backup quarterback who's not going to be here next year. Just throw crap at the wall and see what sticks.
Why not? I'm cool with it. I gotta imagine it's a little bit more difficult if you're USC trying to game plan for this game when are expecting Josh Hoover not too long ago to be the quarterback, and now you've got a guy who's not played all season long. You don't really have much to work with. However, the rest of TCU's players are going to be available for this game, which is kind of a borderline miracle, to be honest. In this day of college football, in this era, for your entire team to be playing in a bowl game that's not a playoff game, that's pretty significant. And I think that's really, really cool that even a guy like Eric McAllister, who's going to get his name called in the NFL draft, is going to play. I mean, that's awesome. I love that from Coach Dykes and the entire team to step up and play in this game.
Yeah, everyone, just to be clear, everyone that's not hurt. So Jordan Dwyer will not be playing because he hurt his foot in practice over the last, couple weeks ago or whatever. So he won't be playing. But even like a guy like Paul Oluwale, who it was reported that he is going to enter the portal after this season. He's been practicing. He's going to play for TCU in this game. And I find it's kind of sad that he's probably going to leave, but one last hurrah for Paul. So yeah, it's like you said, it is astonishing that TCU's got this many guys ready, even though, some are going to go to the draft like Eric McAllister, because look, USC is objectively, I'd say, a better football team than TCU, at least, talent wise, but they're going to have some players that aren't playing because they're declared for the NFL draft and they're going to opt out of this game. Most notably, their top two wide receivers in Mekhi Levin and Jacoby Lane. So it is interesting to see what this is going to be like because, yeah, sure, TCU doesn't have their quarterback, but USC doesn't have their top two wideouts, one of their best safeties, their starting tight end. They don't have any of those players playing either, but they do have their quarterback. And they also have their offensive play caller and Lincoln Riley still around and kicking and available. So it's definitely a weird game to talk about because both teams have like a very key piece missing that makes it a little bit harder to prepare for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for Coach Avalos. Yeah, not dealing with the top two wideouts for USC, but again, still having their quarterback. That should be interesting. Yeah, we saw last year. I mean, McAllister had a great game in the New Mexico Bowl.
Oh, yeah, really good one with Williams and Besh out.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see. Well, obviously, he's going to be playing, but I'm curious to see if there's going to be anyone that we haven't seen a lot from TCU. Do we know if Ed Small is playing?
Do not, but and there will not be any injury reports that come out for this game because they don't have to, and so therefore they will not. Other than what Sonny or Lincoln Riley would say in a press conference. I'm not. This is not any reporting, but I think it'd be a lot of fun to see. And we're just kind of going, as you can tell, we don't have a lot of notes. We're just kind of doing the same thing as I expect TCU to do, just throwing a bunch of crap at the wall, seeing what sticks. Terry Shelton season, perhaps.
Why not?
Why not? If Ed Small is playing, let's go out there. Let's see what he can do. Jordan Bailey, I don't know where he's been. I think he's entering the portal, actually. See what happens there. I mean, like, just get like a lot of people involved that maybe you don't expect. Maybe USC doesn't expect. Because certainly I don't think Louisiana expected Eric McAllister to put up 150 yards or whatever he put up on him last year. I don't remember in the New Mexico Bowl. But interested. I'm interested to see where TCU goes to. The thing is, though, it all hinges on what Ken Seals can do. And to be honest, we don't really know what he can do in a TCU uniform. We know what he can do in a Vanderbilt uniform, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm really excited that he's getting this opportunity because he knew he wasn't going to be the starting quarterback this season. He knew it was going to be Josh Huber's job, and he stuck around. And he hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities with TCU. I think last year he just appeared like sparingly. And then, yeah, we saw him at Vanderbilt, but I'm glad he's getting this opportunity. I have no idea what to expect. I really don't. And I think that makes it kind of fun. I think it's just at the end of the day, like, this is a big bowl game. Obviously, the Alamo Bowl is exciting and you're playing a premier opponent. But let me ask you this. Would you have rather have seen Adam Schobel get this? Like, okay, no. I understand this. No. It would be very messed up if you gave Adam Schobel the start over Ken Seals. But I wanted to ask, would you have preferred to see Schobel, or are you just fine with Seals?
No, I'm fine with Ken Seals. Yes, I see people, in what you're alluding to, I imagine is, there's been some debate online with TCU people about whether or not it should have been Adam Schobel because he's kind of, he's the 4-star recruit, and this is a perfect opportunity to see what the kid can do. But I think this is a special circumstance where Ken Seals has been here for 2 years. He's been a veteran leader on the team. And from all accounts, the locker room rallied behind him pretty quickly after it was made clear that he was going to be the starter here. And I just think he deserves this, frankly. That's why I think it is perfectly reasonable and okay for him to get this over Adam Schobel. Like, he has been here knowing he's not going to be the starting quarterback, and he's given a shot to start in a big-time game. I put big time, but it's a bowl game, so there'll be some eyes on it for sure. Let's just see what he can do. And whether TCU wins or loses this game, even with Josh Hoover in, was never going to change my outlook to a bigger degree on what this season was, because it was a disappointment. We've already, talked about it. But to see what Ken Seals can do, and maybe he goes out there, lights the world on fire with Sonny Dykes with the play sheet in his hands, and we all have a really fun time on December 30th at 8 p.m., watching TCU play USC. That's all this really is. And so that's why I think it's deserved that Ken Seals gets this shot.
I agree. Yeah, I understand what fans are saying, maybe wanting Schobel and just like seeing what you got. But sometimes not every single thing needs to be like driven with some sort of like agenda, thinking about the future, all of that. Sometimes football can just be about giving a guy an opportunity, even when it may not seem like, oh, well, he's not going to be here next year. So what's the point? Sometimes there are things that happen in that locker room that a lot of fans don't consider. The relationships that players are developing with other players, with coaches. There's a lot of inner workings happening within TCU football that we never hear about. And so for someone like you mentioned, for Ken Seals, who's been around for a little bit, to get this opportunity, it is exciting. And sometimes it doesn't always need to be about the play for next year or looking ahead. Sometimes it's just being in this moment right now, giving a veteran quarterback a chance to go prove himself. And you see what happens. Adam Schobel will have his time. He will most likely, whether it's at TCU or somewhere else, Adam Schobel will have his chance to play quarterback, most likely. And right now, it's Ken Seals' time, and I'm okay with that. At the end of the day,
Yeah, and this is most likely, and I'm not trying to. This is most likely Ken Seals' last time ever to play quarterback ever. Because this is not to disparage Ken Seals, but he's going to be professional in something that is not football.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of the situation. So giving him this one final hoorah, and we've never seen him really. I mean, he had 6 passing attempts this whole season. He's had 19 in his TCU career. He's completed 14 passes for just over 100 yards in his TCU career. Let's see what he can do as a Horned Frog. I know that he did stuff at Vanderbilt for 3 seasons, but I've never personally, with my own 2 eyes, live seen Ken Seals do all that much other than throw it around the pigskin on the sideline at the TV timeout. And so I just am very excited to see him in game action. And so sue me if I'm excited about that. Yes, sure, I would be pretty pumped about seeing Adam Schobel too, but I just want to see Ken Seals get this. And his excitement at the press conference, whenever, he went up the podium and he was like, I called my dad. He was the first person I called. I'm super excited and super blessed to get this opportunity. It makes you feel things, man. And so I just really excited to see what he could do. And even if he throws 17 interceptions, I'm sure that would kind of suck actually. But even if he goes out there and puts up a pretty bad performance, I'm just happy for him that he gets this opportunity. In a big time college football game one more time.
Yeah. And who's to say maybe Schobel gets in for a drive or something? You never know. I don't know if that'll happen. Probably not. But who's to say he doesn't get a chance? But he will at some point. And like you mentioned, this is it for Seals. So excited about that. And I'm really glad that he's not going to be shorthanded. He's going to have his guys for the most part, barring, injuries or whatnot. He'll have his players available, and he'll get his best shot at trying to attack this USC defense. It's pretty cool, I think, in my opinion, that TCU's getting a matchup with USC. It's kind of been a disappointing year for the Trojans. Or to an extent, how would you kind of gauge this year for USC? Maybe not disappointing.
No, I don't think I qualify it as a disappointment. I would qualify it. I think that there was a lot of like, okay, Lincoln, let's see what you got, sort of, because I'll say this. Defense obviously was an issue at USC for a long time, and he refused to hire or to change direction on that and kind of build the team in the correct way. And, 3 years into his tenure, last year, he finally decided to kind of change course. And last year was a bit of a disappointment. And, they, in their first year in the Big Ten, but that was kind of year 1 of the reboot of USC of Lincoln Riley, kind of doing what he should have been doing from the very beginning. And I mean, look, they went 9-3. They beat Michigan. They were competitive with Notre Dame. They had a good season. They arguably should have beat Illinois earlier in the year. That would have been a 10-2 year. Maybe even they make the playoff at 10-2. Who knows? But it was a really good year for them. The defense improved. Jade Mayava was not like super awesome, but he was pretty good. They had 2 standout wide receivers in Lane and Makai Lemon and Lane, who obviously will not be playing in the Alamo Bowl. So TCU won't have to worry about that. But I good season. If I was a USC fan, if I was a TCU, I'm a TCU fan, right? And if you said this and you gave me USC season, I would say that was a good year.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it definitely could have been a lot worse, and I mean, it wasn't too bad. They finished in the top part of the top half of the Big Ten, and like I said, they beat a good Michigan team, and they just hired their next head coach. So right before we started recording.
Yeah, that did happen. Zion's reaction to that was he hadn't seen the news from earlier today, so he was very surprised.
I was like, well, Kyle Whittingham, wait, I didn't even know he was in consideration. I'm just, things I see or don't see on Twitter sometimes.
I would like to give myself some credit on the USC Trojans. Okay. They are believed the one team that I pegged correctly in the preseason from the very beginning. USC was not ranked in the AP preseason poll, but in my D poll that I put out on my Substack, I had them at 16 in my preseason poll. And I kept them at 16 in the majority of the polls throughout the year. And they finished at 16.
Right at 16. That's pretty cool.
And people at the beginning were like, this team is not gonna. We need to believe it when we see it. We don't believe that Lincoln Riley can do it at USC or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is a good roster. So, but like not super great.
Yeah.
I think a lot of USC's excitement is that they just signed the number 1 recruiting class in the country. So I think that they're fine with 9-3.
Yeah, though, I mean, it's looking a lot better for USC football now and over the coming years for sure. So it's going to be a tough matchup. How
does the Alamo Bowl affect the 2027 USC recruiting class is the real question I think we should be asking.
Yeah, it's crazy implications. We'll see. Before we do score predictions, do you want to go run through the Big 12 bowl games really fast?
Sure. Let's do it.
You want to I just kind of a spur of the moment thing?
Yes, let's do it. Let me look. Has any Big 12 team played in a bowl game yet?
Not yet.
No, they have not. Got a lot of them coming up in the next couple of days.
The first one.
The first one's Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Pop-Tarts Bowl at 2:30. Georgia Tech, BYU, just the perfect vibes matchup on ABC. Haynes King, Barrett Bachmeier. This is what we live for right here. This is what makes college football so great.
Give me the Cougs. It's
going to be a fun one.
Give me the Cougs.
Yeah. Give me BYU. I like that both these teams are playing. I like that BYU was not salty after missing the CFP, and they said, okay, we're going to play our bowl game, and we'll finish the season strong. Hats off, BYU.
Hats off, BYU. Great. Hats off to a religious school playing in the bowl game. TCU and BYU, better than Notre Dame. You heard it here first.
Yes, it's perfect. So should be a fun one. I'll just go with the Big 12 team, and I feel like that's probably going to be a common theme in my predictions. Just not soon after that one, though, tomorrow at 8:15, it will be the Texas Bowl, SEC versus Big 12. LSU without Lane Kiffin taking on Houston. Or who knows? Maybe Lane Kiffin.
I don't think Lane's coaching the bowl game.
Maybe he'll pull like a WWE entrance and just like, whoa, it's Lane Kiffin. He's probably not going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know who wins this game because I don't know who's playing for LSU. And I haven't been diving into it. It'll probably be a kind of a zombie. Do you remember that LSU team a couple years ago? I think it was the Texas Bowl. They literally had like 35 scholarship players come out there because I think it was when they fired Ed Ogeron. It's terrible.
Yeah. I'll go with the Cougs. The other Cougs.
The other Cougs.
Houston. Yeah, I don't know who's playing in these games either. I just, like I said, kind of spur of the moment. I threw that on you. So
No, I like it. I like it.
Hopefully.
Can the
Next up,
ACC champions beat the Arizona State Sun Devils?
in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl.
It's Sun Devils versus Blue Devils in the Sun Bowl.
Give me Duke. Give me Duke.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah. Give me the blue over the sun.
I don't know. Jeff Sims, final hurrah.
One less ride into the sunset.
I don't know. Give me
yeah,
Jeff
Sims. I'm going to take Duke because, they're obviously the best team in the ACC. So, they won the conference. So obviously, give me Duke.
Should have been in the playoff. If they beat Arizona State, I'm going to tweet on X or whatever that Duke should have been in the playoff over James Madison.
You totally should. You should.
Duke would have beaten Oregon.
They're moving on to men's basketball, so I don't think any Duke fan will be tuning into this game. They're focused on basketball now, so should be a good one.
They got a good team, by the way.
They do have a good team. We'll be talking about college basketball here soon. Conference schedule coming up. Also on New Year's Eve at 2:30. I know everybody's going to be tuned into the Las Vegas Bowl between Nebraska and Utah without Kyle Whittingham.
No, he will coach. I think he's coaching.
Oh, never mind.
I think, at least, whenever he was stepping down, the bowl game was going to be his last game. But now that he has another job, I do not know. But as we're going to timestamp this at 4 p.m., December 26th, my understanding is that he will coach in that game, but that is based off a statement that was made 2 weeks ago before he was the head coach of Michigan.
What a unfortunate thing for Utah to get set up with Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl after the season they had. 10-2, they lost to BYU and Tech, but they dominated, steamrolled everybody else, and they were a borderline college football team, and they got Nebraska without Dylan Raiola. That I'm pretty sure he entered the portal, so I don't think.
Well, he also broke his fibula.
Oh, dang, he did?
like 4 weeks ago.
Well, then he's definitely not playing. Oh my gosh, yeah, give me Utah.
Yeah, I'll take the Utes, with or without Kyle Whittingham. I don't care.
We got Navy and Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl on January 2nd.
Midshipman.
We the salute there. We'll go with Navy. And then finally Arizona and SMU in the Holiday Bowl. I've seen the ad for this. I've seen the ad for this a billion times from Fox. It is a fun game.
Give me Noah Fafita.
Yeah.
SMU lost to Cal, who lost to Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, they sure did. Who would have thought, though, that Arizona would be a 9-3 team, ranked 17th in the CFP poll? I mean, we were really down.
We were really down on them. I said that Brent Brennan was going to get fired at the end of the year, and he might get an extension.
He might.
I wouldn't give him an extension. I just want to make that clear. Don't give him an extension.
I'll just agree with you. But
go Wildcats, obviously, for obvious reasons.
It's definitely going to be a fun game for sure. January 2nd, the Holiday Bowl. I'll go with Arizona. They've had a turnaround season. They really, I think, surprised a lot of people. So it's been a good year for them. And then can't forget, of course, the Big 12 representative in the CFP, Texas Tech playing Oregon. This is an intriguing matchup for sure. Will Oregon be ready? Where is this one being played?
Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Do you think teams should be hosting in this round of the playoffs as well?
It would be my opinion that there should be home games up until the championship game, if in my perfect world. But to make the teams that get the buys not get home games is just like the most ludicrous thing. You're telling me that Indiana is not going to be able to host a game in Bloomington? Can you imagine how awesome that would be for Indiana to like host Alabama in a playoff game, or Oregon has to go to Lubbock for a playoff game? Like Lubbock would be bananas. Bloomington would be crazy. I mean, Columbus would be nuts. We already know that Athens is an amazing atmosphere for Georgia, and to put them at neutral sites is just like to make Texas Tech and Oregon go to Hard Rock Stadium. I mean, I know that the I don't know. It's just stupid and dumb. People are focusing on the wrong things about the playoff. They're talking about James Madison. No, talk about Texas Tech has to go to Miami for a playoff game to play Oregon.
It's dumb. I think you're totally on the mark there, especially for the seeds with this playoff. For Indiana and for Texas Tech, two teams that a few years ago, if you told them they were in the CFP, they would have thought you were crazy.
Let alone getting a bye.
It was a pipe dream, yeah, and getting a bye. It was just unrealistic, never even a thought. And now they're here, and yeah, they get to go to Miami. I don't know where Indiana and Bama play, but it sucks. I do agree. I don't understand why.
Rose Bowl for Indiana and Bama, which is fine. I guess that's fun.
That's a cool consolation prize. Consolation. That's, Rose Bowl's awesome. But yeah, you're telling me like Ole Miss in Oklahoma and these lower seeds get the host, but not the higher seeds? I just don't. There are a lot of flaws with this bracket. We can make an entire episode about the formatting and how things should go and all this. That one, I think most people can agree, is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of hemming and hawing about argument. There's just a lot of very much agreement between people. You're absolutely right. I don't know who wins. It's a fun matchup because it's, strength versus strength in a lot of ways and kind of weakness versus weakness. Although I think Oregon's defense is not quite as bad as no, I'm not saying that Texas Tech's offense is bad because it's pretty good, but we all agree that is Texas Tech's weak point is their offense compared to their defense. But I'm excited to see Tech's front seven against Dante Moore and those receivers. And I'm very excited to see that matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I just love what both of these teams are doing, and I'm going to go with Tech. I just think I like to go with the team that's a little better up front for most of these games. And so in this instance, I think Tech will have the slight edge there. I think Oregon is favored right now, but I'll go with Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl to go out there and win as my dogs are barking.
Yep, love it. Go with the Red Raiders. Not love that technically, but I agree with you.
Yeah. Shall we pick this TCU and USC game, Seth?
Yeah.
At 8:00.
Let's do it. I don't know.
Look, sorry, go ahead. I cut you off there.
I think I'll go with the Froggies to pull out a listen. TCU in the Alamo Bowl with a backup quarterback. Usually good things happen. So it only happened one time, but usually good things happen. TCU in the Alamo Bowl with a backup quarterback. Give me TCU 38, USC 35. Ken Seals 450 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. Eric McAllister goes out with a bang. Ed Small, if he plays, is just awesome. Terry Shelton catches a touchdown pass. That's my prediction.
I love it. Terry Shelton, touchdown. I'm going with Kamarion Pimpton to score a touchdown.
Love it.
Remember when he scored a touchdown, the announcers didn't even know who he was.
Yep.
So that's going to be on my bingo card. Again, look, this is a tough game to evaluate. There are so many things happening. TCU got a new offensive coordinator. They lost their quarterback. The good news is that most of these guys are playing in game from me. Mainly talked about this from a Ken Seals perspective. I think that's the most intriguing storyline. So that's kind of why we hit that so hard. But I would love to see what we can do with the running game. See if, um, Jeremy Payne, gosh, I couldn't remember his name for a second. If he can have a good game, you had a really strong end of the regular season. Curious to see how he'll do. But I'm gonna take USC. I mean, psych. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna take TCU. What the heck? It's the last game. I'm not gonna take USC. Uh, I know USC probably has a little more talent and wouldn't be surprised if they won this game, but it's the last game of the year. I'm not going to pick against the Frogs. So
I mean, how
give me
could you?
TCU.
It's Christmas season. It's holiday season. Gotta be positive.
Yeah, got to be positive here. Seth will be there in attendance. You excited to go?
Yeah, never been to the Alamo Bowl. I've been to San Antonio, but never been to the Alamo Bowl, so very excited.
I'll be watching. I'll be looking for you. I'm sure they'll
go to the press box. They'll pan to the press box.
Could you imagine? What if the camera guy just like kind of messes up somehow and gets you? Director can't cut away in time, and there you are, Seth, on the screen.
Hopefully, screenshot it for me.
I will. It should be a fun one. Glad you're able to go, Seth. It'll be a fun game. USC TCU, December 30th at 8 o'clock on ESPN for the final game of the 2025 season for TCU football. But that is not where our football conversations will end. We'll continue to talk through the transfer portal, any news that circulates around TCU football in this offseason. We will break it down for you. And then, of course, men's and women's basketball are kicking into high gear for their conference schedule. A lot of high expectations for TCU women's basketball. The men's team is just a big fat question mark. I have no idea what we're getting from this team from game to game, but we will cover it all for you right here on Believe in TCU. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page, or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, all at Believe in TCU. So for Seth Battle, I'm Zion Trammell. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, go Frogs.